Just when you thought the constant whining and complaining in the mainstream media about the NFL could not get any worse, they pull the rug right out from under you and double down on the propaganda. Rob Parker. I'm not kidding when I tell you this. These people are in a competition to see who can be the most woke. What this man said earlier today is the absolute height of woke propaganda. Many of you may be unfamiliar with Rob Parker. He used to be a somewhat prominent voice over at ESPN. He was part of that mass exodus of ESPN talent who headed to FS1 several years ago. Currently, he hosts a radio show with Chris Broussard on Fox Sports Radio. It's called The Odd Couple, and the name is fitting. Chris Broussard often speaks from a common sense perspective. Rob Parker contrasts that with complete ignorance. Rob Parker is another one of these social justice warriors who views everything, and I mean everything, through the lens of race. For the past 10 years, the mainstream media has been on a mission to destroy the NFL. It started with the NFL is against black quarterbacks. When that didn't work, it was the concussion scandal. The NFL doesn't take care of black players. When that didn't work, they victimized Colin Kaepernick. He was blackballed for exercising his rights to free speech and to protest. Social justice warriors have a difficult time understanding these rights. You have the right to free speech. You have the right to protest on your own time. If the NFL doesn't want you to use their platform to propagandize millions of people with your bullshit, they have the right to tell you not to do it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to comply. You still have the right to protest on their platform, and they have the right to fire your ass. It's called the free market. Employment is not a right, it's a privilege. No one owes you a job. If you have one, it's a privilege. More recently, the media has been using the lack of black head coaches to try to denigrate the public image of the NFL. Now, never mind the fact that the NFL has created more black millionaires than damn near every other business in the country. They don't have enough black head coaches. They are biased. This latest attempt to destroy the NFL will fail just like the others. But Rob Parker, who graduated from Woke U with a master's degree in psychology of the lifelong virgin with a minor in Black Trans Lives Matter, Rob Parker has found another area where the NFL is biased against black people. Broadcasting. Yes, broadcasting. The media. Rob Parker believes there aren't enough black men covering the NFL, even though he himself is a black man who covers the NFL. More specifically, Rob Parker believes that the NFL, along with Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, are biased when hiring play-by-play and color commentators. Now, normal people, we see Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Tony Romo. We see them making $15, $18 million a year to call NFL games, and we think to ourselves, what a great gig. They're making millions to call football games. Rob Parker sees them making that kind of money, and the jealousy begins to creep in. Anytime the evil white man gets paid, social justice warriors never believe it's based on merit. Merit is a foreign concept to losers on Twitter. These people believe they're owed something. When a social justice warrior hires someone, which I know that never happens because the vast majority of social justice warriors are unemployed. They lack any type of usable skill. They're fucking useless. But if an SJW were ever in the position to hire someone, they don't base that decision on merit, qualifications, experience. No. They look at the intangibles. What color is he? Oh, he's non-binary? He's automatically hired. Rob Parker put on his thong this morning, got on the radio, and started whining about Tony Romo being paid $18 million a year. He never won anything in Dallas. How is he more qualified than Booger McFarland to call NFL games and make that kind of money? I'll tell you how he's more qualified than Booger, Robbie. For one, Tony Romo's not a grown man who calls himself Booger. And two, Tony Romo is by far the best sports broadcaster on television, not just the NFL. He is the best across all sports. You see, Robbie, how it works in a free market system? When you're the best in your field, when you provide value that no one else can provide, you can command the most money. Tony Romo being paid has nothing to do with his skin color. It has everything to do with his value. Earlier this week, Rob Parker submitted his PhD thesis to Woke U, and he submitted it to the place where all bullshit lands. Deadspin. Ah, yes. Deadspin. The place where social justice warriors congregate and talk about the best lotion to use for self-pleasure. The tagline of this thesis: shamefully, super paid NFL TV analysts all have one thing in common. They're not black. Rob Parker starts this bullshit by claiming it's ridiculous that television networks are throwing millions of dollars at guys like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. ESPN, is paying both of them around $15 million a year. But it's funny. I didn't hear him complaining when ESPN paid Stephen A. Smith $12 million. At least Joe Buck, Troy Aikman provide value. Stephen A., he is handed a script written and read to him by someone else, and he repeats it verbatim. That's all he does. Stephen A. has proven numerous times he doesn't know shit about the NFL. He doesn't know shit about baseball. Damn sure doesn't know anything about the UFC. Yet ESPN, they continue to have him cover UFC events and humiliate himself. The only league that Stephen A. knows anything about is the NBA. And that's great. But there's a small problem. Fewer and fewer people give a shit about the NBA. So ESPN is paying Stephen A. Smith $12 million a year to be an expert in a league that no one cares about. Rob Parker falls back on the same tired point, that the NFL is 70% black, but doesn't provide equal opportunities to players once they retire from the league. First of all, it is not the responsibility of the NFL to provide opportunities for retired players. The league doesn't owe them anything. Just because you played in the NFL doesn't mean you're owed a job in the media. Not to mention the fact the NFL doesn't hire these guys. The television networks do. Now, I'm sure the league has an opinion, but the hiring is taken care of by the networks. So let me get this straight. What Rob Parker is essentially saying is ESPN, the worldwide leader in woke, the network more commonly known as BET. Rob Parker is saying ESPN is biased against black broadcasters? Is he out of his fucking mind? There are plenty of black voices in NFL media. Michael Irvin, James Brown. Hell, James Brown has been hosting NFL pregame shows for over 20 years. Kurt Menefee, Michael Vick, Jonathan Vilma. The list goes on and on. But KC, Rob Parker is saying they're not paid the same as Tony Romo and Troy Aikman. Yeah. You want to know why? They don't provide the same value. On each network, there are only 2 slots that make that kind of money. There was a reason John Madden was the highest paid broadcaster in the NFL. There was only one John Madden. You know why ESPN paid Joe Buck $15 million? Because he has chemistry with Troy Aikman. ESPN is trying to revive Monday Night Football. The last few years, it's been a disaster. They've been given shitty games, but I think one of the main reasons ESPN has been given bad games for Monday Night Football, the NFL knew their broadcast crew sucked. It sucked. Rob Parker continues with his bullshit by claiming Amazon hiring Kirk Herbstreit is proof of the bias against black broadcasters and NFL media. Kirk Herbstreit never played in the NFL. How can he analyze the game? He's not qualified. Guess who else never played in the NFL? Mike Tirico. Yet somehow, he was the leading voice on Monday Night Football for 11 years. He filled in for Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football last season and was rumored to be his replacement. NBC is paying Mike Tirico $6 million a year. So explain to me, where is the bias? Where is it? I get so tired of the constant whining, the constant victimization of minorities. People like Rob Parker are a hindrance to their own community, and they don't even realize it. This is the same guy that claimed RG3 wasn't really black because he's Republican and married to a white woman. Now, of course, he claimed his comments were taken out of context. ESPN fired his ass anyway. That was back in the days where ESPN operated with common sense. If Rob Parker had said the same thing on ESPN today, they would bow down and worship him. Stephen A. would give him the woke hug. I think I explained that to you the other day. The woke hug, where woke men embrace each other and play a nice round of grab ass. Rob Parker is a disgrace. But let me know what you think about this dumbass. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.